This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
People who value sleep, sleep on a Nectar mattress. But you're not going to believe me. After all, I might be lying. I must be lying. The only thing you know is true is that commercials lie to you. I must be lying.
Instead of believing silly commercials, trust the more than 2 million happy sleepers who sleep on a Nectar mattress. Nectar Sleep is currently running their Labor Day offer. $399 in accessories plus a 365-night home trial and free shipping and returns. Go to nectarsleep.com today. Hurry, this offer ends September 6th.
72 Plus on the Football Daily Podcast with Aaron Paul.
Hello and welcome to 72 Plus, your weekly delve into the Football League and beyond here on 5 Live's Football Daily with myself, Aaron Paul. This week, joining me, we have the returning Phil Brown, and making his debut with us is the Wycombe Wanderers manager, Gareth Ainsworth. The Charlton Director of Football, Steve Gallen, drops by, as does the Harrogate Town manager, Simon Weaver, who's got his side off to a flyer.
72 Plus on the Football Daily Podcast with Aaron Paul.
I feel like I'm in esteemed company and with two of the most sartorially elegant men the Football League has ever seen. That's, for our younger listeners, by the way, that's swaggy. That's swaggy. Gareth, Phil, how do you do it every week? From snakeskin boots to the silk cravat, you guys love making a statement on the touchline.
I must be the same as Gareth. I love shopping. You go on a little bit of shopping spree. It takes your mind off football and you can focus on other things. And I don't know, I just look at the weird and wonderful fashions that have been around over the years, and you got to go with the flow to a certain extent, you know, the cowboy boots and stuff like that, all part and parcel of me growing up, I'm afraid.
Are you not a three-piece suit kind of man, Gareth?
No, not at all, no. I mean, to be fair, when I first took over, I will admit that it was, do I suit it, do I sort of, and I was a little bit tame, and I think the more confidence I've got, and then the more that people have associated me with the rock and roll manager, I thought, that's what you are. Go and get the gear on that's been in the wardrobe for years. And some of the stuff I wear, believe me, mine aren't new. Mine are very old. Yeah, I've yet to don the Motley Crue T-shirt on the touchline, but it's not far away, believe me. So.
Gareth, I got married last year in September. You would have been absolutely delighted with the suit I had on. I went down to Camden Town and I nicked the suit. I'm telling you, I nicked the suit for 250 quid. It's crushed velvet and it's maroon. It's maroon. You would have loved it. Honestly, I had like a yellow cravat on with it. Oh, you would have died for it.
As soon as you said Camden, Phil, you had me there. That's the place to go. If you want to look cool, you want to look different but still cool, get down Camden. Some awesome places. You've
got to rock up to Camden on a Sunday afternoon. It's fabulous, isn't it? I mean, I wish Amy Winehouse was still alive and just, you know, breezing on down there, listening to her dulcet undertones. I'm telling you, we're doing brilliant.
I can definitely talk about this all night, so the football might come second there. So
well, we've got to talk about the fashion. We've got to talk about the fashion. It's important. Phil, I'd imagine though, when you were manager in India, you were wearing more linens, lighter fabrics according to the weather.
Yeah, it was different. I mean, strangely enough, my third year in India, my first year was at Pune City, which is just one of the suburbs of Mumbai. I don't know if you've ever been, Gareth, to India. What a place, by the way. You have to go. No. And I mean, you have to go. It's an eye-opener. It's refreshing. It's a game changer. It changes your mindset with regards to our game, you know, the football match. Fairly similar to when we were on the touchline at Wembley and you calmly came across and just gathered my thoughts and your thoughts and just said, instead of running around like a lunatic with penalty shootout, just stand and admire it to a certain extent. Honestly,
let's get together, mate. Yeah, that's what it was about.
That's the Indian way, you know. There's more important things, that kind of thought process. But I went to in the second year, I went to Hyderabad, and again, it's a totally different part of India. The third year was in Goa, and I was part of a production team. And the clothes were supplied. Everything was supplied. And I was 115 games, consecutive games every day. And I was on probably about 72 shows. And I didn't wear the same gear twice. Gareth, it was heaven. You would have loved it.
Yeah, I can believe
Gareth,
it.
do you look at other managers on the touchline? You know, like when you're sort of prowling that area, do you look at him and think, oh, that's a nice bit of clobber he's got and I'll have a bit of that?
No, not at all. Not at all. Honestly, I want to be different, and I want to be unique. Everyone loves being unique, you know, and it's great to have a statement, and you know, it's better to be talked about sometimes than not talked about. But I'll try it honestly and truthfully. I'll try and maybe take some of the limelight away from the boys and pressure away from the boys, maybe. And if people concentrate on what I'm wearing or look at the long-haired manager, the boys can just get on with their stuff. And the boys know, they accept me. And I said to them in the dressing room before the game, look, boys, this is me. This is who I am. And I'm proud to be this. Go out there and be proud. And it's sort of a big mantra that we have together, you know. And as Phil says, I'm lucky, you know. I'm really lucky that in my first years of management, I was taught big lessons with nearly going out of the league, and the Wembley experience me and Phil shared, you know what I mean? And I'm glad you remembered that, Phil, because I did remember right at the end of the game, I thought, we've run around for 120 minutes. There's been words exchanged from touchline and benches and players having a go at each other. I thought, sod this. This is now down to the toss of a coin. I'm going to go over to Phil and say, look, well done. Let's watch these together. Let's be proud of our day today, our boy. You know, whoever wins on penalties. And I think I'm lucky. I've worked that out quite quickly in the game, and it's not everything. It really isn't everything. It's important, and I love it, and I'll give everything for it. But at the end of the day, you know, as long as you do your best, that's all you can give, and the result is not everything, and that's important to me.
I wanted to move on and talk about that day at Wembley. I was there, and I did watch you guys just sort of not embrace, but it felt like it was two men who are just human saying, look, it's a penalty shootout. Whatever happens, happens. It's beyond our control. That is what it really felt like after, let's be fair, what was 120 minutes of slog?
It was 123 minutes when we equalised. Gareth must have been on his knees. Thinking 123 minutes of a season. Unbelievable, Gareth. And it was a great gesture.
Do you know what, Phil? Honestly, I've never thanked you for that, but I'm saying thank you because I firmly believe that if we'd have been promoted that season, we'd have finished bottom of League One, come straight back down. And I might well have lost my job in that season going up because we weren't ready as a club. There was no way we were anywhere near ready. And honestly, it was a blessing. We've done everything we possibly could for Wycombe Wanderers the right way. Losing on penalties in League Two was the best thing that could have happened to us because, you know, we'd had the return of the money from Wembley. We were nowhere near League One side. We were not a good side. We had some good players. We were together and we had the spirit, but we weren't ready for League One, honestly. So
remember what we talked about, Gareth? I was just about to go up the stairs, and obviously you'd been up to take the applause, etc., etc. But we were discussing budgets, and you were saying mine's going to be cut again next year. And I went up to your chairman because he was on the parade. And I said, give him a chance. He needs more money. Give him more budget. He said, no, I'm cutting it.
Yeah,
that was on the stairs at Wembley.
Yeah, it was tough in the day. We had the trust owned and everything. So there's no way we were ready, but it works out well. And sometimes that's your path. That's the fate that I went down. And 10 years, Phil's been all over the place. In the last 10 years, I've stayed in one place. It's been crazy. Yeah. But
10 years at one football club is fantastic. Really is. Great achievement.
Talking about budgets, Gareth, I mean, how have things been under your new ownership with the Coigs? The club seems like it's on a real upward trajectory right now.
Yeah, I really have to say a big thank you and a big relief that they came in, you know. Not only are they fantastic people, you know, and when I say people, not because they've got money, not because they're backing me, just they are good people. You can always tell good people. When I met them straight away, you thought you warmed to them. You know these are good people. Pete Coig, the nephew, he same bands and same music growing up. We're absolutely kindred spirits. And Rob Coig, the money guy, the lawyer from New Orleans, he's really a genuine, caring guy. We've had players who've been injured lately, and he's talking about extending their contracts. Going, is he okay? And when you get a chairman like that, you think you've got to stick hold of these. So what we did was we got to the championship. Because of some of the backing he gave me, able to get David Wheeler and Paul Smith and people like that in that season, we got to the championship. By luck or judgment or COVID, whatever you want to say, we made it. And what he did last year was he didn't give me tons of money, right? So the budgets in the championship are that big that we, no matter how much you'd have ploughed in, we couldn't have got anywhere near the second bottom budget. So he said, right, I'll give you a fair one. Let's see what we can do. Try and stay up. And if you don't, we'll have some for next time we're in League One and we can stay strong. We're not doing a Stockport. We're not doing a Yeovil. We're not doing the down. We want, if we go down, we're going to be strong enough to have a chance of bouncing back. So he was very clever in his long-term planning. It did hurt us a little bit, but only 1 point off Derby. I thought it was a hell of an achievement from Wycombe last year, and not finishing bottom was really special. Not having the lowest points total ever was really special. And the most special thing is he's true to his word. He's given me the money this year now to keep us competitive in League One. We're not the top budget by any means. We'll be 8th or 9th, but we're very competitive, and I think that's been great long-term planning for me.
I've got to say, Gareth, seeing that breaking news gif that Wycombe Wanderers use when you announce signings, every single time I see it, I'm thinking, mate, they could be signing someone from the National League, or they could be signing Cristiano Ronaldo, because you seem to be, I don't know, Phil, if you agree with me, he seems to be one of the shrewdest recruiters in the game. I think about some of the players you've brought in on loan to that club, and Rolando Aaron sticks out. Maybe it didn't work out, but, to pull a name in like that is huge. To bring Sam Vokes to Wycombe, undoubtedly probably going to be one of the best strikers in the division, if not the best striker in the division. But then you can unearth a gem. I look at Anis Mehmeti, what an absolute impact he had last season in the Championship, and what a fabulous footballer he's going to have. How do you do it? How does Gareth Ainsworth do it? How do you win the trust of managers out there to say, hey, see that player, give me an on loan and I'll turn him into a world beater, or I need him for a month, or I need him for 3 weeks? How do you do this?
I think it was an acceptance early on, Aaron, of we're not going to be able to get the best players. We're going to have to work with the unknowns. And I think I work with the unknowns really well. I give them this belief in themselves that they can become knowns. Alfie Mawson played against Phil's team back at Wembley in 2014, and he's gone on to a fantastic career. But I have to say as well, you're sometimes a little bit lucky on signings. They don't all work, and you think, bloody hell, I got away with that one a little bit. He's turned out even better than I thought he was. And I've had a couple of them as well, so I'm not going to take all the credit. But we do a lot of character checks. We do a lot of, and I believe that attitude and character, if that's there, you've got something to work with. Yeah, they've all got talent, but character and attitude, we do a hell of a lot of background work on. We look on their Twitter, we look on their Instagram, we talk to their ex-teammates, we talk to their ex-managers, and they've got to be a certain character to get in the door for me to work with, to start with. And I think that's a big part of it as well. But I appreciate the comments there. Thanks. And Phil, no, he's recruited a lot more players than I have, and he's also had a few more harder personalities to work with. You've hit the nail on the head with regards to the attitude, absolutely. But your DNA is all over that team, and that's the most important part. If anybody wants to go and see Wycombe play, they'll see a spirited performance. They might see an above standard performance to what they were expecting. You have this ability to do that, Gareth, and it's part of your DNA, and I love it. I think it's brilliant when you can see a manager's traits and his thought process in the way the team plays, and I think that's probably the biggest key factor to any managerial success that any of us have had, is that you've managed to get your DNA on that team. I think that works with someone like Pep Guardiola as well, because he was such a great footballer and playing great footballing teams. He's a great footballing manager, and I think Jurgen Klopp's teams play with so much energy, so much enthusiasm, just like he did. And I'm really proud of when someone says that, because if you watch one of my games from when I played, it was energy, it was passion, it was I will never ever give up on anything. I'll make 60-40s against in my favour and all this sort of stuff. And sometimes the technique just didn't go quite right, because that's who I was, But the attitude and the passion and the never say die, that'll always be there. And I think teams should reflect their manager. And it's easy for me to manage as me, not try and be someone else. It's me. That's who I am. So go out and do that. So it's nice to hear.
Phil, how do you translate that DNA and apply it to Southend United? Dropping out the Football League, you are one of the big names now in that division. There's been a massive turnover of players. How have you been able to stamp your identity on that side?
The initial thought process of what the question being asked was, one, when I walked into the football club, there was a bad stench about the place. It had 2 years of back-to-back relegations. When I left the club 3 years back, we were on the verge of the Championship. What I mean by that is, 1 point away. Last day of the season, Millwall managed to score an extra goal and they got promoted through the playoffs. We missed out, finishing 7th, I think we were. But to go from that into a season, the chairman, like Gareth's just saying there, the chairman afforded me some extra money in the budget, and we brought in bigger players, Anton Ferdinand, people like that, playing for Southend United. I know he's coming to the end of his career, and sometimes you get players at that level coming to the end of your career, and you can pinch a year out of them. But having not started that season well, I lost my job. And that DNA then goes, and the new one comes in. And obviously they've had 4 or 5 managers since the last time I managed. And there was it was a mishmash of players. It was a mishmash of DNA. It was a mishmash of techniques. There was all sorts of stuff going on. And I tried to galvanise that by just being basically a second ball team. We went after the second ball. We didn't play fancy football. Only had 6 games. Didn't have anybody to impress, basically. The supporters weren't there. And the supporters on Twitter and Facebook and all that, they were slaughtering the team. So even if the punters had been allowed in the ground, there wouldn't have been anybody there anyway. And that's going from a side that was averaging 6,500, 7,000. All of a sudden, we had 6 games. We've got to tune out the team. We had 2 wins, 3 draws and 1 defeat. And the defeat against Colchester, which was a derby match, was a really poor performance. And consequently, we got relegated and deserved to be relegated. But the chairman kept true to his word. Doesn't matter what happens, I want you, and this, that and the other. Offered me a 3-year deal, and I didn't take the 3-year deal. I took 6 games. But when the 6 games were up and we had been relegated to the National League, thought long and hard about it, offered me the same contract. And I thought, why not? I've been in all 4 divisions, managed in all 4 divisions, and now I got an opportunity to manage in the National League. And it was a fresh challenge, and I really did feel fresh. I felt brand new coming back from India. I felt like I wasn't scared of the challenge. I really wanted to have a go, and he's backed me in the transfer market. We've had a massive turnaround in players, and we've started off with 3 games, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 defeat. Played against 2 absolutely non-league teams, and that's not being disrespectful. Absolutely, Wealdstone and Kings Lynn. It has to be said, non-league teams, no doubt about it, but they gave as good as they got. They went afterward. They were fighting us. They were playing football. They were trying everything they possibly could to win the game. And we played Stockport as well, and one of the big money spenders. So we've had a real look at it in the 3 games. But again, and Gareth will back me up on this one, you don't just stop a tanker from going in the wrong direction. You've got to slow it down. Then you've got to stop it, turn it round and point it in the right direction. And that takes time. It takes time to get your methods across to a club that you know quite a bit about. And I don't know, Gareth, if you've seen the crowd. We took nearly 1,800 fans to Kings Lynn. It was phenomenal. And then we had 5,500 against Stockport, and then we took 850 fans to Wealdstone. The punters are just desperate for it. They just want to get that ship turned in the right direction. And with that kind of energy, you can achieve anything for me.
And the supporters will have a bit of a fresh start as well, Phil, because it's like, and I don't say that in a stupid way. They've had League One. This is a fresh one. Right? They're going to all these grounds that they've probably never been to before, and they want to. You embrace it, and I don't care. Like you say, Phil's managing the Premier League. He knows what that's all about. I have no idea, but I'd love to be there one day. But there's no difference. You're managing a football team, and the challenge is there. The levels it's all relative, and I think the supporters getting right behind it. I'm honestly shocked, like you say. I remember you finishing 7th, and then the season after, within 5 or 6 games, it's I don't know what some chairmen do sometimes, but. It's good to have you back anyway.
Let's stick in the boardroom and welcome our first guest. It's the Director of Football at Charlton Athletics, Steve Gallum. Steve, welcome to the programme.
Thank you. Nice to be on, chaps.
Thanks for joining us. I mean, the last time you and I spoke, you just completed the signing of Lyle Taylor. Your club, it's been through a few changes since then and are now under the stewardship of Thomas Sandgaard. Is this the most stable period that Charlton has seen in a long time?
Yes, is the simple answer. And I was listening into Phil there and what he was saying in the last few minutes, and it just got me thinking about our club. We've had so little investment in the last few years. We got a promotion there a couple of years ago into the Championship, but deep down on the inside, we all knew that we had no financial support. Trying to stay in there was going to be very, very difficult. And that's exactly what happened. We got relegated on the last day. We finished 3rd from bottom. And then into League One again last year. Again, financial problems. Couldn't get the quality of player in that we needed to maybe get up. But we give it a good go, and we ended up finishing 7th, missing out on goal difference. Thomas Sandgaard has come in and he has completely steadied the ship, and it's very settled behind the scenes. I've been able to go and sign a few players for transfer fees, which I never did in my first few years at Charlton Athletic, and we're starting to build a squad, a younger squad and a stable squad that hopefully will give us a chance, not just this season, but maybe the season after and the season after that. So in answer to your question, yes, it is definitely the most stable it's been since I've been there.
Harry Arter is a big name that you've brought in, but he has a relationship with the club. How good was it to bring him home effectively?
It was really nice. It went on for a couple of weeks there, and Harry needed a bit of convincing. He was not sure about dropping down from the Championship into League One, and a lot of football players are concerned about doing that. They feel maybe that they'll never get back up to the Championship. So partly for me, it was to try and convince him that he's coming in effect to League One. Of course, Charlton Athletics in League One, but kind of like a Championship club, really. It's a big club in League One. But also, I try to convince him that he's going to help us get back up to the Championship. Now, that may not be this season, like I mentioned. It could be 2 seasons or 3 seasons. But because it is a big club, I do believe we will get back into the Championship. And Harry's going to play a big part. He's actually away right now with Ireland. And so we actually did the deal with him being abroad. He signed, luckily we've got DocuSign now, so we can sign things. Don't all have to be at the training ground or stadium to do it. So Harry signed with us while he was over there in Portugal, where he is now with the Ireland team. And good signing for us, good experienced player, and someone who really wanted to come back and play for Charlton, because I think he feels he has a bit of unfinished business with us.
Steve, you telling me that the fax machine's now redundant?
Fax machine. I don't know. Gareth will remember the fax machine because he's a lot older than me, to be honest. But me and Phil are a bit younger, so maybe not. But no, we can do these things. Luckily, what we actually did with Harry, we give him a medical before he went and travelled. So he did his medical almost the wrong way round. He did his medical, then travelled over the Ireland team, then we signed him via DocuSign.
Steve, can I ask you a question? Was I sitting next to your owner of Charlton Athletic Football Club at the Denmark-England semi-final?
Yes, you probably were. Yeah, how was he, Phil?
I tell you what, he was
right?
Absolutely devastated after the game. Obviously, we'd won the game, and there's me singing all the songs for the England fans. But I tell you, he was a feisty character in the game. He was going after us big time. Whenever we fouled, he was up in arms, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Great day for us, but a bad day for him.
Yeah, I feel he is a bit feisty, I'd say, to be honest. He's a bit eccentric as well. He played his guitar on the first game of the season against Sheffield Wednesday live on TV. And that was big for him. But do you know what? Behind all of that, the eccentric part, he's a good bloke. He's a nice bloke, very fair and very decent, and he wants us to succeed, as you could imagine, and he's been very helpful to us in the last couple of weeks.
Gareth Thomas Sandgaard playing the guitar live in a stadium. You never been tempted to do that?
My guitar playing is very, very limited. I'm more of a singer, so if somebody can play guitar, they can make me sound good. But we're really pleased to hear your voice, and yeah, just great that you've got so much energy and the way you talk, you can feel the energy's back at Charlton. The way you want to do things, and actually, you nicked a player off me, Sam Lavelle, at the last minute. We were really keen on him as well. So. Yeah, you've done a great job. I'll tell you, whoever identified him has got a good eye, because I was after him as well.
Well, thank you. Good, Gareth. Obviously, I've been to a couple of your games recently, and I can see that as well at Wickham. It's different. So I saw your game against Lincoln there the other week, and Wickham, for me, felt a little bit like before little old Wickham. I don't see that anymore. You've got a good team. You've got a good squad. Your fans are brilliant. Honestly, I think your club is definitely on the way up, and you were magnificent, by the way, last year in the Championship, and felt really sorry for you at the end, but you did brilliant.
I really feel bad to spoil this loving because, Steve, you're talking about Thomas Sangard who come and sing on the pitch. Gareth, you can sing. The only man who has actually sung on the pitch here is Phil Brown.
It's Phil Brown.
I was there.
You were the
Go on, Phil, give us a line. Go on.
I was singing, honestly, I was bellowing that tune. You know, the England song that everybody was singing in the summer. I was bellowing
Sweet Caroline.
In the Sweet Caroline. In the Charlton chairman's ear, as loud as I could do. He was just in front of me. It was brilliant, honestly.
You're more of a Sloop John B man.
I'm a Sloop John B. Honestly, my mother used to sing. She used to sing when she was in the army. She had her own troupe way back in the day, you know, just after the Second World War, etc., etc. And I've seen pictures of her. She was every night, if there was a microphone in a pub or whatever, she would get up and belt a tune out. And she said to me the faithful words, if anybody puts a microphone in your hand, you've got to sing. Sure enough, I'm going on Gareth, true story, I'm going on the pitch to clear the pitch because supposedly the chief of police said there's been a pitch invasion. Right, so he gives me the chief of police gives me a microphone as I'm walking on the pitch. I'm looking, all I can see is grass. There's nobody on the pitch. So I thought, here we go. Sloop John B, off you go.
Very, very quickly, I've got to ask very, very quickly, Steve, what's the remit for Nigel Adkins this year?
Well, he's got to finish top. I'm only joking. So I think, look, you know, internally, we're talking about top 6. We haven't started the season great. And then I think there was a recognition from our owner that, look, we're a little bit short in the team and the squad. And so in the last, 4 or 5 days of the transfer window, I signed Elliot Lee, I signed Jonathan Lecco, I signed Harry Arter, and I signed Sam Lavelle. So we got 4 players in the last 4 or 5 days. And let me tell you, it's not easy because it's more than 100 phone calls a day for like 4 or 5 days. I mean, more, maybe 150 on the last day. And that's why my voice is probably sounding a bit like it is like it right now. But it's busy, it's hectic. You've got to get things right financially. You've got to get things right regarding the players. You've got to get things right regarding their agents and their contracts, the medicals. There's a lot of boxes to tick. I think we got that in the last week. And now we're all pretty comfortable, all confident, whatever, that we've got together a squad that might be able to challenge for the top 6. So nothing more than that right now for the manager. But that's exactly what he'll want to do as well. He'll want to be top 6. The fans will want it, the chairman, the staff, everybody. Gareth's going to want that at Wickham. Sheffield Wednesday want that. Ipswich, Wigan, Portsmouth, Sunderland. And you can't, I just mentioned maybe 8 teams there, so 8 into 6, somebody's going to miss out, you know.
Absolutely. There's some big names in that division, some really, really strong squads. Steve, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's wonderful to hear from you once again. And I think we'll chat in January, won't we?
Yeah, no problem. Looking forward to that. Thanks for having me on, fellas. Great to speak to you. See you soon.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Cheers, Steve.
There you go, Steve Gallen,
Bye-bye.
Director of Football at Charlton Athletic. Phil, you didn't get those 20 players, did you? You didn't even get 19. You got 18 and a box of headphones, didn't you? You loved a headset. Loved a headset.
It was when we went back to the days at Bolton, you know, and Sam used to enjoy being up in the stand watching the game from the clouds, as it were. And I always wanted to be touchline. I always wanted to get a feel. You know, Gareth, sometimes you're a tactician and other times you're a touchy-feely kind of guy, you know. What I mean by that is the passionate side of the game, you know. Is that the right tempo being set by a team on the touchline? And I think I've always wanted to be touchline or pitch side so you can feel that. And consequently, when Sam was going up there, he just wanted to be able to get information to me and I'd get information to him and vice versa, you know. So it started off with them headsets and then carried on at Hull City. I can't afford them now.
Nah, you just got a physical phone now, haven't you? Like an old school phone. Let's move into League Two and start at the top where Forest Green keep on at it. But Harrogate have also made a magnificent start to the season, and it's very much a family affair over there in North Yorkshire, where Simon Weaver, son of owner Irving Weaver, continues to do a sterling job. Simon joins us now. Simon, how are you? Okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Good to have you with us and with Phil Brown and Gareth Ainsworth. I mean, you've made a flying start, you know, to your campaign, League Two. You must be delighted with how it's going so far.
Yes, so far so good, and it's given us a real boost, starting so positively and on the front foot in games, and we've scored some good goals, but the new additions have all bedded in nicely, and like I say, it's so far so good, but you can't take your foot off the gas because anybody is capable of beating any other team on the day at this level.
You recruited well. You've brought in some experience. I think a player from both Southend and Wickham. Am I right? In Mark Oxley, the goalkeeper, Phil, he's moved on. I mean, how have they bedded in your new signings?
Very well indeed. It's been quite seamless. They're really good, honest lads, so they're in keeping with the group, the existing group already at the club, and so it's kind of like minds really. They're all up for it. They're up for the training, so there's no negativity. There's no one really being dragged onto the training pitch or reluctant trainers. And when it comes to match day, they get the music pumping, and they're really up for it. And we've got a nice tight ground and a brilliant pitch now, thanks to the groundsman, and so it's enabled us to play our way so far at home, and we've come out the blocks nicely at the moment, but we've got some challenges ahead, starting at Mansfield on Saturday, who are a powerful outfit, so we expect that to be a tough test.
How's Alex Patterson done? He struggled a little bit for me, as in I think he missed home a bit. He's had a baby. He's got his missus up north. But he never really got a run. He got some injuries. There was players ahead of him in the team, and just to see his name on the score sheet, honestly, I love him. I think he's a cracking player. How's he bedded in for you?
Yeah, he's been excellent so far, Gareth. Yeah, he's been really direct with his running from midfield. So he's committed defenders. He's played with a lot of drive and purpose, and I think, like you say, he's a northeastern lad, and back with his partner who was keen for him to move back up north, and he seems to be settled, and we talked about it today. It's probably the longest run he's had, consecutive games, which helps with for any player, he seems to be happy and actually goal scoring the first time since he was in the under-18s at Middlesbrough, so it's excellent. He's made a good start.
I'm just thinking about the club in itself. What's the expectancy level? Is it high? Is it up there? Are you expected to be in and around the playoffs, if not automatic promotion this year?
No, but I mean, behind the scenes, in all honesty, it's just a build on the start that we made to the EFL Live really last year, which was 17th. But it's not really exciting saying, "Oh, let's finish 16th or 15th," is it? You've got to try and keep the dream alive and not set a ceiling there for the players, because everybody wants to be that team like Morecambe, how they achieved it, and Cheltenham achieved it last year. They built it on a collective spirit and probably a real drive and belief behind the scenes collectively. So, and what the likes of Gareth have done, they've achieved amazing things in the past by building on that character within the squad, and it's taken them to places that we're aspiring to. So we can dream big, but at the same time locally and thankfully boardroom wise, there's realistic targets of building on the status and the platform from last season.
Simon, do you look at Sutton United this season, look over and think, "Oh, that was us"? And you can't. Do you draw comparisons at where they are? Obviously, they haven't started the best. You started just a little bit better than them, but can you appreciate what they're going through right now as a fresh name in the EFL?
Yes, definitely. I think you do feel that momentum gain from any promotion. But then it's sometimes there's a dawn of realisation that it is a higher level. When you en masse, you've got lads who've been 1 and 2 leagues below, who've grown with you. There's going to be moments of where it's either a breakup or there's a growth point, where everybody learns together. And fortunately, we've got some really good lads that are open to learning and don't take it too personal. When you sit in front of the video or point things out, I think it's got to be that way. I think there's lots of lessons. So I'm sure Matt's brilliant at Sutton and done an amazing job. But he's gone about it same system, as how we played predominantly, and same honesty. So there'll be ups and downs, just as there will be for us still, because you've got to earn your stripes at this level.
When you talk about Salford, and the Wrexhams, but and the teams that came down, obviously, the Swindons and Northamptons. There's some huge teams in that league still. So do you play the underdog tag at all, Simon, or are you just you? Do you play any way of billing yourself before games to the boys?
Oh yeah, use that tag, use every tag going to try and motivate them. We are the small boys. You know, if you look at the fan base and where we've been,
definitely.
There's no illusions of grandeur from the Harrogate point of view. We've got an aim to build a club even in the local area. You know, we need a fan base up, so we try and play a way that is attractive for Harrogate people to come out and to have the club in the heart as well as the mind, so that there's a consistency of support in the local area. So, but as far as we're concerned, we probably are the underdogs in a lot of these fixtures, but the ones that do turn up certainly get behind us, and there's a pride in the club right now.
We've actually got the opposite. We've got a massive target on our back at the moment, which is understandable for a club Southend size, but when you have a history of mismanagement, there's a reason for it. The reason for the back-to-back relegations is not just football management. I'm talking about the running of a football club, and I think Harrogate's a great example. Wickham's a great example of a club being run properly from top to bottom, and I think that's the reason why you play the good football that you're playing, because the supporters believe in you because of how it's run.
No, thank you very much. I mean, it's not easy when there's been that recent history, and I mean, you're picking it up in that situation there, which is needing a completely different skill set. We're trying to. There's probably less pressure, only the pressure that you really put on yourself, and I think everyone does. In football and in their professional life, they want to do well, but the circumstances, I'm sure, have been very trying there. But I guess, with your wealth of experience that you can call upon, you can look at that holistically, the whole club.
Simon, we're loving seeing you flying high at the top of League Two. Hopefully you'll come back and join us again soon.
Thank you very much. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for inviting me on.
Simon Weaver, manager of Harrogate Town, with us on 72 Plus. Gareth, a weekend off for you. What are you going to be up to?
AFC Wimbledon, Oxford. We got Oxford next Saturday, so it's everyone thinks it's the weekend off. Little boy saying, "Can we have a kick about?" And I'm saying, well, between these times I can do it, but I'm at AFC Wimbledon. I want to see how Oxford play. Still, even with all this video technology and even all this Y-Scout and all this stuff, you cannot beat being at the game you're going to play next and seeing it and watching the managers, the players and their reactions. So yeah, that's where I am this weekend.
I've got a spare in the Platinum Lounge if you'd like it.
Oh no, you're absolutely lodging it. No chance.
I've got a spare in the Platinum Lounge.
I'm an ex-crazy gang member.
4/5 course dinner, depending on whether the chef defrosts the afters. Champagne reception, bit of halftime beverages. It'd be nice to have you. You're more than welcome. There's a free ticket going.
Listen, you have your prawn sandwiches. I'll be writing down some tactics for next week. All right.
It'd be good to see you there. And Phil, Southend entertaining. You are entertaining Wrexham.
Yeah, we've got, as I say, strangely enough, me and Phil Parkinson go back a long, long way. I mean, I went to Hull City, the start of my success in the Premier League, if you like. I went to Hull City as Phil's assistant, but couldn't manage to keep him in work. I mean, 5 or 6 games down the line, he got the sack, unfortunately. And then I think it was about a 12-game, believe this or not, Gareth, it was a 12-game caretaker manager role. Eventually got the job, and the rest is history. But I don't think he's forgiven me for that. So he's in town. He's the big earners. We think there's a target on our back. My word, there's a target on Wrexham's back. I'm looking forward to the occasion, because it'll be a cracking game of football. I know how he plays. I know how he wants his team to play, and we're fairly similar. We like getting after teams, and if it's a battle, if we can win enough of the individual battles, we'll maybe win the game.
when West Coast LA turn up to Pier West Southend. It's going to be quite the story, isn't it? Best of luck for the game. Best of luck, Phil. Great to have you on with us. That's it, though, for this week's edition of 72 Plus. My thanks to the Wycombe Wanderers manager Gareth Ainsworth and the Southend boss Phil Brown. And thanks again to you for joining us. There'll be plenty of EFL and National League action to get stuck into this international break weekend. So if you're going to a game, don't forget to take us with you for your essential match day listen. As always, though, we say make sure you're subscribed to the Football Daily, where you'll receive every podcast we bring you from the second it's released. We'll catch you again next week.
72 Plus on the Football Daily podcast with Aaron Paul.
Whether you're feeling the baseline or getting ready for bedtime, feeling full of attitude or embracing gratitude, when you want to turn up the loudspeakers or happy just being a chill seeker, Radio 1 Dance, Radio 1 Relax. Flip your vibe with 2 streams only on BBC Sounds.